All right. So I'm going to drop the diff. Disconnected the brake line. That was easy. It's kind of dribbling, but what I'm going to do is go to the front of the car and put a little bit of air pressure on it to dump the rest of the fluid out of the line. And then there's just those 8 bolts to do and to drop it. Of course, I'm gonna have to support the car back here first. It's not a big deal, I've done that before. That brake line and the fuel tank vent that goes along with it are gonna have to be replaced because when they kludge the footwell repairs in order to weld it, it looks like they grabbed them and just pulled them away real roughly, so you can see they're all bent up and stuff. Hopefully it should be very long. We'll have it out and get the degreaser to start working on it. All right, so now I've got the back of the car supported by 2 jack stands and a 2x4 between the two, for lack of a better term, frame rails. And so now the suspension is hanging by those mounts, which is supposed to be a bad thing, but I got replacements anyway. So I'm gonna get the motorcycle jack out and see. I'd prefer to be able to pull it out through this wheel well, but we'll see how that goes. I have to pull it out the back, which I'd rather not do because then I have to open the garage. And it's hot outside and muggy because we got a full 6/100 of an inch of rain last night. I don't know if I ever showed this to you, my tower of, I'm not sure, giant tools. So I have the engine puller, and then I welded tabs into the ramps so that they can sit in the top of the legs when the legs are folded. Oops, sorry about that. When the legs are folded. And then I put the engine stand in there, and then I have my Harbor Freight kind of brake, and a creeper, and the motorcycle jack. So that way it takes a lot less room and I can roll it around if I need to. Alright, well, the hubs made it so I couldn't get the jack in from the side, so I had to go through the back, put the tires up there in the rack so they're out of the way, and I took the weight off the diff. So now I'm gonna pop out those 8 bolts and should just be able to lower it down and roll it around. All right, so I was wrong. It's not pull out the 8 bolts, 4 on each side, and it drops out because they've, quote, engineered it so that you can't access the back of these bolts. I guess you could cut holes in the trunk or something like that, but you can't get at them with the differential in place, and so it ends up being kind of like a Chinese puzzle, although I'm guessing that the British actually were the puzzle makers and then just blamed it on the Chinese, because then you have to get these bolts. There's a bolt here, and then there's 2 bolts in the back, again, both of which are largely inaccessible, but you can use, hand wrenches. Of course, that takes forever. So what I thought was going to be fairly straightforward and quick is turning out to be much slower, but keep plugging at it. All right, it's down. Um, kind of a pain in the ass, but maybe Derek's helped to drag it out because I'm gonna have to slide the jack sideways, which it doesn't like to do. A little bit of documentation. On the outside of the front brackets, there were 2 shims. On the back, there was only 1 shim on the outside, and here's what they look like. And it's consistent both front to back, but you know, with a 50-year-old car with different people touching it, who knows if that's the way it's supposed to be or not. My guess is that they're just using it to, since the material is pretty beefy, just using it to make it so they don't have to squeeze the pieces on. So I'm gonna get this stuff all organized and put into my rear suspension box, and then I'll grab Derek and pull this thing out. All right, got it out. The rotor's turned, so the brakes aren't locked up or anything. It's just dirty. Down here you can see the effects of Jaguar's automatic rust prevention system. Back here it's all really nasty as well. But so I think what I'm gonna do is vacuum it, and then probably just spray some super clean on it, just to let it start eating away at the rust preventative. Now that we've got that out, I'll be able to finish welding the back edge of the floors in. Of course, I've got to get all the undercoating out. Seems like it's dry and flaky, so hopefully the needler will work for most of it. Otherwise we'll have to heat it and scrape it. So that'll be really unfun. But otherwise, get to move on to something mechanical, which is always better than body work. All right, I've got up on the motorcycle jack, which has a locking mechanism, but this way it's up and easier to get at, and also takes up less room on the floor. I sprayed it with Castrol Super Clean. I'm gonna let that soak for a while. I put it on, you can get these cool mats that are oil proof, and so I figured that when I get the steam cleaner out and steam clean it, all the oil and stuff, grease and nastiness could fall on that, and then I can just roll up, throw it away, and keep the floor from getting nasty. All right, so I'm gonna try my little McCulloch, aka Chinese, from Harbor Freight, steam cleaner. It says McCulloch like you'd think chainsaw, but it's a licensed thing. I think only sold through Harbor Freight, because in the back of the little manual it says to provide feedback on the Harbor Freight website. So let's see. Now, up there on the top, we're really focused on built up dust. Like over on this side, it looked like a Rat Patrol or a Rommel Jeep with that very light tan color, but it's black paint underneath. back here, this is all covered in grease. Let's turn the light on. Using a little brush, which is kind of nasty given how thick the grease is, but it's too hard to hold the camera and do this, so I will bring you back after some more humidification of that garage. All right, a bit of an interesting discovery. Let's see if we can see that. There's not a matching tear on the other side. This is on the driver's side, where the frame is torn. Obviously I can weld it up, but you know, coincidentally I have a smashed up wire wheel up there. I wonder if those two events are related. Could be, but we won't name any names. Alright, so I'm done for the day. Couple of things I learned about the steam cleaner is that it's actually best to start on the cleaner areas instead of jumping straight to the really greasy stuff, because it gets the little brush tip all greasy. And I'm not sure that I wouldn't have been better off putting this in the yard and power washing it. The problem is that it weighs a freaking million tons, literally, and be really hard to get it out there. But you know, this is working and getting the grease off. So I did the whole thing on all the external exposed areas, and I just shot another thing of engine cleaner on it, and I'm just gonna let it soak and work in, and then maybe later this week I'll get the boys to help me roll it out into the grass, and we'll carry it out. I'm not sure how much it weighs, and then we'll use a pressure washer on it as the next round. But the steam cleaner did do a good job of melting away the grease, so it started, because the grease kind of forms a really hard shell on the outside. But between a little chisel and the steam cleaner, sucking the goo up with the vacuum cleaner, made quite a bit of progress. So there we go.